Okay, so this is the drawing of the box top that we're going to be replicating. So we've got all the important information here. The goal is to make your drawing look exactly like this drawing. Okay, so if we go back to our inventor here, okay, we've got our CAD model of the box top open. What I'm going to do is I'm going to come over here, click on the eye, that brings that down. I want to select new. We'll open up this. I want to make sure that I'm in metric. Okay, I want to make sure I'm in metric, and in the drawing, okay, in the drawing I am going to do ANSI millimeter, ANSI millimeter. Okay, so I'm going to select .idw. Okay, IDW again is specific to Inventor. It is the Inventor drawing file. We're going to go ahead and do IDW, so ANSI millimeter IDW. We'll wait for that to open up. Okay. So again, the first thing that we're going to do once that drawing opens up is that we're going to import the view of that box top, right? Well, again, first before we do that, we should probably adjust the size of the sheet. Okay, so I'm going to right-click on Sheet 1, Edit Sheet. I'm going to switch it to A. A is your 8.5 by 11 sheet, so that you can, so that it's easily printable on an 8.5 by 11. 11 by 17 is pretty common too. You got to have a nice big plotter if you're going to do anything bigger than that. Really complex, large models, you end up needing to use bigger sheets and plotters to get hard copies of that printed out. So we've got our drawing here. First thing we want to do is we want to insert our base views. So under Place Views, we have Base View. I'm going to select that, and I'm going to go into my folder where I know the box top is. There's my box top model right here. So I'm going to select that, open, and that is now what I can place in my model. I'm going to do a couple clicks. I'm going to click here for a side view. I'm going to go up to get a top view, down to get a bottom view, to the right to get a side view, and I'm going to go up here to get an isometric view. Now that I have everything placed that I want, I don't hit escape, I hit right click and create. And it's going to create those views. Those views now look like the views on the drawing that you have. The next goal is to add all of the dimensions. Okay, so there's a couple things that we want to do before we start dimensioning. Okay, and that is we want to put center holes so that we have nice center holes to dimension 2. So we go over to annotate. This is where we operate in for most of what we're going to do. Zoom in. So annotate, and we have right here center marks. So I'm going to select center mark, and I'm going to select on each hole that I know I'm going to need to dimension to. I've got 6 in total. Here, 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 and here. So I've got center marks again that I can dimension to. Yes? Up, 2 more on the top right up here. Yep, so that we have both sides of those top holes. Great. So we've got everything dimensioned, the center marks applied. Now we can start dimensioning things. Okay? So we go over here and under Annotate, select Dimension. First dimensions that I want to do are just the full dimensions. So side to side here, we've got 50 millimeters. And click OK. Nothing to add there. We've got the top to bottom dimension here of 20 millimeters. Click OK. Let's see, we've got this dimension, the height, 15. And you notice how it keeps it as vertical, doesn't it? It keeps it vertical like this. If I exit out of dimensioning by hitting escape, okay, I can now come and select this and I can drag it off to the side so that you can get something that isn't vertical. Makes sense? So I can do something like that if you want the dimension to be horizontal rather than vertical. I could do the same thing to this one. If I wanted to, I could drag it up here and bring it off to the side. Sometimes that's beneficial to get dimensions out of the way so things aren't as cluttered. Okay? Some people are very particular about how they dimension things, and some people aren't. The main thing is to just try to create a situation where you're not very cluttered. Okay, so we've got those primary dimensions put on there. Now probably would be good to dimension the fillets. Okay, so I'm going to go back into dimension, and I'm going to select this edge right here as being representative of all the fillets that exist. So notice that it's putting a R for radius of 2 millimeters, and right after that I'm going to do space and capital TYP for typical, meaning that all the fillets now on this drawing are dimensioned to 2 millimeter radius. Okay. The other important thing to do is to dimension the holes. What type of holes do we have here? Okay. There's a couple different holes that we need to dimension. We need to dimension the through holes that are on the top of the box, and then we need to dimension the threaded holes. Okay. We do have this nice feature right here called hole and thread. Okay. It will select all the information about the hole that's important. So I'm going to select hole and thread. And let's do this threaded hole right here. I'm going to come in here and select it and click. Okay, and notice what it does. It tells us that's an M2 by 0.4, so it's a 2 millimeter hole that's threaded at a pitch of 0.4, and it goes down a depth of 4 millimeters. Okay, so it communicates all the information that we specified about that threaded hole when we put it in. Okay, so it's kind of nice. We don't have to do all of that annotation. Now I can do the same thing, being in hole and thread. I can select this hole right here. And what's nice there is, again, it selects and it knows exactly what type of hole it is. It's a 2 millimeter diameter hole, and it's a through hole, meaning it goes through that whole surface. Okay, so we've got all of our holes dimensioned. Now, there's a couple things that we actually need to go back, so I'm going to exit out of that. I need to go edit this. The reason I need to go edit this is that I don't just have one hole dimensioned to that. I have 4 holes dimensioned to that. So I'm going to double click on it, left double click, and at the very beginning I'm going to type 4 capital X to represent 4 times. So there's 4 hole locations. Okay, 4 hole locations for that. Okay. And then the same thing, this one right here, I need to adjust it to say 2x because there's 2 holes that are 2 millimeter diameter through holes. So there we go. Okay. What's left to do in regards to this, there's 2 things left to do. Number 1, I need to specify the thickness because this top box is shelled out. So I'm going to specify the thickness here. To do that, what I'm going to do is I'm going to select an inside and outside edge, okay, and I'm going to place it. Now, with that selected, I'm going to, after it, put TYP, okay, for typical. And then I'm going to hit enter and I'm going to type in wall thickness, and click OK. Now that's awkward location, so I'm going to exit out of dimensioning. I'm going to take this, I'm going to bring it up to like that. So 2 millimeter thickness on our wall. Okay, typical meaning everywhere. All the wall thicknesses that exist because this is shelled out are 2 millimeters thick, and the typical to imply that that thickness is